There was a point in time where Alexis Sánchez was one of the best players in the Premier League and world football. He was providing elite goal contributions every single season, while scoring some insane goals. However, even though Alexis Sánchez was extremely talented and was one of the most valuable players in the world, he did decline, which left him to be shipped out to many different teams around Europe. But with his decline being widely reported, just how good was he in his prime for Arsenal? Let's find out. Alexis Sánchez was born in Tocopilla, Chile on 19th December 1988. Sánchez was a product of CD Corbeller's prolific youth ranks, where he was teammates of current Chile national team players Aragonés and Eduardo Vargas. While being a teenager, he impressed a lot and actually got signed for 1.7 mil in 2006 by Italian side Udinese. With him being young at the time, he was actually loaned out to sides Colo Colo and River Plate and did decently well for them, before eventually joining Udinese in 2008 when he was 19 years old. Originally at the start, Sánchez struggled in Europe. He scored not many goals and was criticised a lot in his first year in Italy. And despite some good performances in the Coppa Italia knocking out AC Milan, he didn't really do much in the second year as well for Udinese, struggling and only scoring 5 goals. However, it'd be his third season, 2010-2011, where his fortunes really changed in Italy, with him having a really successful season alongside attacking player Antonio Di Natale, becoming one of the best scoring duos in Serie A, tallying 39 goals between the two. Sánchez was named the world's most promising youngster of the 2011 season from FIFA.com. He was up against people like Neymar and Gareth Bale. While at this point being a mainstay in Chile's team, he also captured the eyes of many European sides, and Barcelona went and bought him for around 26 million euros from Udinese in 2011 when he was just 23 years old. He became the first Chilean player to ever play for Barcelona, and Pep Guardiola was happy with his versatility of being able to play in any of the attacking lines and also having very good defensive skills. Now, despite having an overall good season, scoring 12 league goals in just 25 appearances, his first season was mostly suffered by injuries, picking up a couple of injuries and have to go on off a stretch a few times. With Barcelona winning the Champions League before, he would pick up 3 trophies like the Club World Cup and the Super Cup that year, while also winning the Supercopa de España and the Copa del Rey that season, so winning all the domestic cup. And despite showing so much promise, in the second year didn't actually play too much for Barcelona. He did start quite a lot, but only had around 2,500 minutes in their record-breaking season where they got 100 points and won the league. In the end, he got 8 goals and 10 assists in the league and had a pretty decent season at 11 goals and 14 assists. Now, this brilliant season led into the next year, which is 2013-2014, where Alexis Sánchez was amazing for Barcelona, locking down that right wing spot. He ended up playing around 3,400 minutes, a big upgrade on the year before, and got 19 league goals and 12 assists, an insane return, overall getting 21 goals and 16 assists in all competitions. Despite Sánchez having a great season, it weren't a very successful season for Barcelona, and they wanted to accommodate a new striker and start the MSN partnership with Messi, Suarez and Neymar to get the burden off Messi. And at the time, Barcelona were facing financial constraints and needed to balance their books, and the opportunity to sell Sánchez came up when Arsenal came knocking on for his signature, and a significant transfer fee was for that player. Despite him having a brilliant season and locking down the right wing spot, Barcelona thought it'd probably be best to take the money now, and ended up sending him to Arsenal despite him being a very good player for Barcelona. This accomplished with the fact that Sánchez had a good World Cup in 2014, scoring twice, made his value very high, and Arsenal decided to spend 35 mil, which is one of the highest record signings they had signed at the time, and only behind Mesut Ozil from Real Madrid. Now, going to a big fan base like Arsenal, who hadn't had the most success in the recent years, was a big thing for Sánchez. He joined up with Ozil, and that was 2 superstars that Arsenal had on their team, and he was definitely loved by the fans, becoming one of the main men as soon as he joined. This also meant that Sánchez went from a player that could basically only play out on the right for Barcelona and was a player that they didn't really care about despite playing brilliantly, and at Arsenal he was the main man. He could play where he wanted, when he wanted, and everything was revolved around him. Sánchez's first competitive appearance was against Manchester City in the Community Shield, where Arsenal won 3-0 and he helped playing in the first half. His Premier League debut was against Crystal Palace, in which he got an assist for Lauren Koscielny's equaliser in a 2-1 home win, and then he also scored his first Arsenal goal on the 27th of August, scored against Besiktas in a 1-0 Champions League win. Straight away he showed a willingness to work hard and win the ball back, while also having a brilliant technical ability, being very smart under pressure and making good decisions while having a great finish. He was honestly a perfect player for Arsenal as soon as he joined, and he hit the ground on fire and was brilliant in his first few games for the club, and by November already had 9 goal contributions in the league. He became super important for Arsenal straight away and actually played mostly on that left side in the first season, but also played on the right and as a secondary striker and as a normal centre forward at different points, and was very good everywhere on the pitch. And he was just very important for Arsenal. He won them so many games by himself. The 2-2 draw to Hull was only because of him. They won 2-0 away against Sunderland, he scored both goals, and they won 3-0 against Burnley in a week, and he was so good in all them games, scoring 2 in that one as well. Now, despite Arsenal having an overall decent season, they came 3rd, nowhere near the title, but they got Champions League football quite comfortably. It was a pretty decent season for Sánchez, while also having a brilliant run in a different competition. Now, Arsenal going into the season were actually the reigning FA Cup champions. They beat Hull in the final from being 2-0 down, and they actually got Hull in the first round and easily dispatched them this time, beating them 2-0. Now, Arsenal mostly played away in this competition, but they actually kept going through games. They beat Manchester United in the quarters with old player Danny Welbeck scoring scoring the winner. And then they played Reading in the semi-final with Sanchez scoring 2 important goals to take them to the final at Wembley. This saw them play Aston Villa when Arsenal absolutely thrashed them, with Sanchez scoring a worldie from outside the box, giving Arsenal their second FA Cup in 2 years, and also giving Sanchez his first major trophy in England. Although there was problems with Arsenal's team and Arsene Wenger as a manager, this kept him in the job, and it gave Sanchez actually have a very good year overall. And in the end, his stats were insane, scoring 16 Premier League goals, getting 8 assists, and all competitions he got 25 goals and 12 assists for a first year in England. That is an insane stat. To make 2015 even better for him, he went to the Copa America with his country, Chile, who hadn't won it in many years, and actually won the whole thing, playing in every single game, being really good, and scoring his penalty to beat Argentina in the final, bringing glory to his national team, being named the best Chilean player of all time. He was also voted the PFA Fans Player of the Year and was also named in the PFA Team of the Year, being the only Arsenal player, being a big player for that team. Unfortunately, next season wasn't as good, and his goals and assists definitely dried up, while him being injured for large parts of the season, missing a big part in the December period. Overall, Arsenal were not very good in the cup competitions in this tournament, getting knocked out by many other teams and being destroyed by Barcelona in the first knockout round, Sanchez's former team. This is because they mostly put all their eggs in the Premier League basket, looking to win the title, and actually lost it to Leicester City surprisingly by 10 points, coming second, which is quite poor. Up until February, Sanchez has only scored in 3 games in the league and actually struggled, but by the end had a really good run near the end of the season and helped Arsenal, but they just weren't enough to win the title, and it was little too late. But Sanchez still had a decent season overall, scoring 17 goals and getting 11 assists in all competitions, still doing his bit despite him not having a great year compared to the year before. However, he did do the same thing he did before and actually beat Messi in the Copa America final on penalties yet again, even though they lost in the group to Argentina anyway. So brilliant achievement for Chile, winning 2 Copa Americas back to back, with him being big parts of it. Moving on to 2016-17, this was arguably Sanchez's best year of his career. He was around 27 years old, so he's getting into his prime, and this was the best he ever played football. I think this was peak Sanchez, and he was insane. Every single game he was taking over for Arsenal. He barely ever got injured in this and played nearly every game this season, rocking up to around 4,200 minutes, the most in his career, and he actually got 24 goals in the Premier League with 11 assists, getting 30 goals and 18 assists in all competitions, having overall 48 goal contributions in 51, which is just insane. He would pick up the ball from deep and run past whole teams and score easily. He would also dribble past everyone, and he had this whole thing that Mbappe does where he cuts in and kicks it into the near post. He loved doing that. It became a point in this where it seemed like he was getting let down by his teammates, and Arsenal got absolutely thrashed by Bayern Munich in the Champions League and let him down in the league, not being close to the title yet again. Despite him contributing to an insane amount of goals and mostly playing centre forward this season, Arsenal didn't even qualify for the top 4, getting 5th and missing out on Champions League football, and this made Sanchez want to leave. He really didn't want to be at the club and thought he was too good for them, and admittedly he definitely was at the time. Any saving grace, Arsenal somehow managed to shock Manchester City in the semi-final in the FA Cup and then Chelsea in the final to win another tournament, with him scoring in both these games. This was his second FA Cup for the team and the third one they had won in 4 years, so at least there's something going for him. With his value going up and up, he actually got a lot of injuries in the next season, 2016-17, and obviously with Arsenal not being very good, he stayed at the club because they didn't want to sell him. But with his major anger issues and him not wanting to play and him not actually being that good at the start of the season, it made Arsenal fans really want to get rid of him. And despite having good form in Crystal Palace and wins at Everton, he wasn't overly that good that season. Despite scoring 7 Premier League goals at halfway, Arsenal decided to swap him for Mkhitaryan because they knew they were going to lose him with 6 months left on this deal, and he went to Manchester United after this, and overall was one of the worst signings they have ever made, even though they got him for a very cheap deal. After this, he only ever scored a few Premier League goals for Manchester United, and then was shipped off later on in his career, only being around 31-32 and going to Inter Milan to win the Serie A, then going back to Marseille and now back at Inter Milan. His career definitely fell apart, but it doesn't take away how good he was at Arsenal. He's one of the best players in the world, and his goal contributions are nothing short of amazing. He really did carry a team that wasn't very good at the time. With him being very successful, winning so many trophies for club and country, and still continuing to win them now, I still think he's had an amazing career, but no one will ever forget the times he did at Arsenal where he was truly one of the best players in the world. It's a shame Arsenal standards weren't as high as his. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you like this type of video, and please watch my video about Arsenal's current problems right now if you want to go and see any more content. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.